Our story begins with a strange question. What do the Queen's Plate, hockey's King Clancy, and a convalescent home for World War I veterans have in common? Why, Lilly Livingston, of course, owner from 1908 to 1935 of the Pontiac stables just outside Cobourg, Ontario. Before moving to Canada in 1908, Lilly was already a renowned horse breeder in the United States and owner of one of the largest thoroughbred farms in the world. But the tide of public opinion in the early years of the 20th century in the U.S. was turning against such activities as gambling, and consequently horse racing was banned in a number of states. Following the advice of her Canadian veterinarian, Lilly looked for a suitable location north of the border. Cobourg was already well known as the Newport of the North and hosted an internationally famous annual horse show. Not only did it have a history with horses, but the Edwardian lifestyle of the town suited Lilly perfectly. She bought the Pontiac Farms just east of Cobourg on Lake Ontario and turned it into a highly profitable operation, second only in earnings to the famous Seagram stable. One of the major goals Lilly Livingston set for herself was to win the prestigious King's Plate, which by this time was run annually in Toronto. But the members of the Ontario Jockey Club did not look favourably on the idea of their race being won by a horse with an owner from the United States. The rules were changed to limit owners to British subjects, and in response, Lilly sold her best horses at auction, and in 1915, Tartarian and Fair Montague, both bred at Pontiac Farms, placed first and second in the King's Plate. In 1921, the Jockey Club relented, and the rules were changed again. Lilly Livingston-owned horses were allowed to compete. However, a third-place finish was as close as she ever came. Pontiac Farms was not only a place for breeding horses, but also home to a generation of Lilly's relatives, as well as 100 or so Shetland ponies, immortalized in Marshall Saunders' children's book, Bonnie Prince Fetlar. Soldiers returning wounded from World War I also found a welcome there, recuperating after release from hospital. In early 1930s, it was time for Lilly to return to her roots in the South, where she raced jumpers and thoroughbreds until her death in Virginia in 1945. But she wasn't through with Canada. On May 27, 2011, 66 years after her death, Lilly Livingston was inducted into the Canadian Horse Racing Hall of Fame. Relatives from Cobourg were among those celebrating her accomplishments. But what you ask about King Clancy? Well, the story is that Maple Leaf owner Conn Smythe once made a $100 wager on Rare Jewel, a horse sired by Lilly's great stallion Lovetie. Rare Jewel was a 106-to-1 long shot, but won. With his winnings, Conn Smythe acquired the rights to defenseman King Clancy from the Ottawa Senators. Clancy played for 6 seasons with the Leafs before retiring as the top-scoring defenseman in NHL history. Lilly Livingston's farm is still there, just east of Cobourg, now serving as the Lakeshore Pentecostal Camp. but few people in her adopted hometown still remember this pioneering woman, who was once described by the Toronto Star Weekly as the Queen Mary of Canadian racing.